was a slightly abrupt end to a song, but other than that, they drifted in together nicely. So, it is time for my arts hole. Where is the art? It's in the hole. It is. I keep all of my art in the hole. It's the whole world in his hole. He's got the whole world in his hole. He's got the whole world in his hole. He's got the whole world in his hole. That's going to play havoc with the fact that there is a audio list in the background, I believe. So the word hole is going to lose all meaning if you keep that up. Oh, it's a hole in the hole. It's a hole in the holy hole. It's a hole, holy hole. It's a whole lot in the hole. It's a holy hole in a hole. It's a hole, and a whole lot of hole. There's a whole lot of holes, and it's all in the hole. Have you ever heard the word hole this many times? No, I don't think I have. Good afternoon, Mr. Malice Caribou. Why, I called you Malaku. Okay, now you're apparently Malaku. Yes, you are Malaku Calibus. That is your new official name. Are you Malice Caribou? Yes, that's the Canadian version, I think, isn't it? That's your Canadian counterpart. A Malice Caribou. I was as good as it was going to get. Right, okay. Let's see. Yes, it did sound. Yeah, I know. I had a feeling it didn't sound Canadian all that much. Let's do that, and then let's do that, and then I wonder if you've got what I need. Do you have what I need? Maybe. No. Well, I could possibly get away with looking into that. I don't know. What I need is. I'm still just gathering bits of stuff. Let's see if that's going to give me what I need. I don't know if there's going to be a voice attached to this video, but we'll see. Okay, interesting. It's not quite what I'm after. I don't know precisely what I'm after, but it's not that. Which is unfortunate. Is it going to be easier just to make my own reference? It's definitely possible. Definitely possible. Okay, let's see if I actually do already have it. Recordings. So how are you this afternoon? I didn't actually ask. I've gotten too busy calling you Malaru Calibus, and then straight into from the Holy Hole song. Desktop, that's what we're after. That doesn't look like it. That's a distinct possibility. That's going to be some random person talking. Yeah, I remember that. It's rubbish. This one. Malibu. Yes, Malibu Callus. Oh dear. Air again. That's unfortunate. But you've got Killing Floor to look forward to this evening. Have you installed Killing Floor? Okay, so that's not quite what I'm after. Is this going to get me what I'm after? No fucking clue what I was doing with that bit of reference footage. Of course I have. What are you doing me for? Well, yeah, you don't want me to answer that question. Unfortunately, you have a track record of not necessarily being the most organised individual in the world. I don't even know if I need a transition, so okay. Let's leave that and ignore it for now. Right, let's get the screen on, because we want After Effects. You can't see the whole of After Effects, but you get the gist of what's happening. This isn't a tutorial after all, this is just me fiddling in my hole. Probably best to avoid fiddling in the hole. Right, marvellous. That's all good like that. Now, I've got to remember how the fuck you use these timers. Yes, because they're slightly fiddly. Or more to the point, they're slightly fiddly when you're trying to get... Oh, I see. Yeah, I'm going to have to go just P. Just going to have to go P. No, I don't. I P'd before the stream. Or I streamed before the P, I suppose. I P'd the stream. I streamed the P. Getting very close to the microphone, because unfortunately, one of the negative effects of having a fairly modern computer and a fairly old After Effects is the resolutions don't really play well together. So as much as it's like the full screen, the text, you actually can't appreciate it because it doesn't pick up the window. So all you can see is my mouse cursor going up and down going, but what's he doing? It's a mystery window that's not actually here. But yes, unfortunately the text is fucking small, which means sometimes if I need to find something specific, it's one of those weird ones where you actually have to get quite close. That's what we're after. Yeah, that's the one. That's what we want. That's not quite as good as I thought it was going to be, but it'll probably fucking do. Proportional spacing, do I want that on? Proportional spacing off. Yeah, I think we'll keep it static on this occasion. Let's have a look at these options again. Are you willing to do some other options? No, I don't think you are. Is that a treasure map? You're going to have to help me out as to what is what a treasure map. This? No, this is clearly a timer. Because if you are talking about what's on the screen, is that a treasure map? No, it's a timer. Or was that something I said and have immediately forgotten, as is the norm? Right, let's save that. Just now I've changed. Now I've made some adjustments. Right, what we want is, I think we do want fill, and then we probably want to do... Yeah, we're going to want a fill and a stroke only. That's the ticket. Right, so... I'm going to need my Photoshop file. The thing that is now a timestamp, yeah. Ah, yes. No, I mean, it was always a timestamp. I'm assuming you're referring to the original... Will that work? No. I was going to just bring back the copy paste, but it doesn't. Yeah, I've overwritten that copy paste years and years ago. But no, I believe that's the Warframe timer. I'm assuming you've never been to the beginning of Warframe, therefore you've never seen the... In fact, I suppose arguably the easiest way of showing that...
Stinky, floppy jellyfish. Washed up on the beach now. Then what are you going to do, Jelly?
No, I think...
When I come by and poke at you with my stick.
I won't play it until the very end, but I'm assuming that's what you meant when you asked about treasure map. That is Grenier numbers counting down with normal numbers. Stinky, floppy jellyfish. Exactly. I can't remember. Is that the one I used, maybe? Is that... Are you quoting that from what you've literally just seen? Or are you just remembering that? Because I definitely used it, because I definitely used the... I'm very excited, Dano. But yes, anyway, that's what you're seeing on the screen now. It's the Warframe timer, and it was quite interesting. It almost doesn't look like it's moving, that rear version in the Grenier text, but it is interesting because the cutout, you can just about see the cutout sort of travelling down the block. Obviously, the primary focus on this is the actual number.
Why, Dano, what an intriguing Warframe you have. I look forward to adding it to my inventory.
It's one of my favourite fonts. It comes from Crusade and No Remorse, or at the very least, it's used in Crusade and No Remorse. But yeah, you can see how they've built the numbers in Warframe. It's a certain divot out of the block. Determines 9, 8, 7, Thunderbirds go. Anyway, back to the arts hole where we are doing another version of this timer. Right, first things first, I wanted that folder. Where is the folder? That's not the folder. That is close enough. Where are you? No, is that going to suddenly turn up? No, it's not. Because After Effects is on top of everything. I say that actually CorelDRAW is the top, is the highest level, but I'm not using CorelDRAW at the moment, so it doesn't matter. What we need is that. What we need is love, sweet love. Do 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 do. Do, 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 do. Did I actually copy? I fucked that up. Whether I... No, I was going to say, I don't think I actually grabbed the code. Grab that code. Slot that code in. Marvellous. I want to adjust the thicknesses and stuff, but the crucial element is getting the colours in at the moment. I've got that song stuck in my head now. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. And of course I've already declared the sentiment that any song I sing, even if it's a song, singing a song of sixpences, any song I sing, oh yeah, of course After Effects works slightly different to the others. God, I slightly hate Adobe because all of their stuff works well together, apart from when it doesn't work well together. Oops, that's not what I was after. It's not terrible thickness. Not a terrible thickness. Let's do it again. Yeah, again, a lot of these menus you can't see, unfortunately, which is not great news. No, we'll have to experiment, see what we can do there. But I think we probably want a slightly thicker. Yeah, we probably want a slightly thicker, bolder line. So 30 might be too much. Yes, it is very much too much. Especially because you can't. Yeah. That should probably do. Let's try and see if inner shadow will work. The answer is, I believe, no. But let's see. It might just be a case of needs to be sized more. No. Okay. Oh, no. We sort of got it because of the stroke glider, as it were. It's difficult to get a good sizing where it's not quite, where it's visible but not quite taking over. What the world needs now is fewer Nazis. Yeah, I think in fairness there's never been an occasion where you needed more Nazis. Even just before the rise of the Nazis, I don't really think the world was going, do you know what we need? We need more Nazis. We just don't have enough. Let's try. Yeah, oh, have a go. I mean, I'll always delete it if it don't fucking work. Inner shadows. Ooh, no lemons. Let's try that. That I could possibly live with. That's some Pokemon ass text right there. Why, yes. Yes, it is. Let's have a look at some of the alternate options in here. So, inner bevel, embossed. Oh, you're going to do a nice look. Wow. I mean, fuck. Okay. Yes. Yes, I am. So, I mean, bravo for figuring that one out immediately. I don't know if that was not necessarily intended as a definitive yes I am, but fuck, you very much got it. I'll tell you what, let's have a... I'll show you the full kit and caboodle. I say the full kit and caboodle. It's literally just starting the fucking DS emulator. But you'll see all of my fancy endeavours. I must admit, there's still a slight sizing issue with that top screen, I think. Might have to have another fiddle. Let's have a look. Yeah. Platinum! No, it is not platinum. It is heart gold. I was going to do soul silver, and then I realised I actually had heart gold. I realised I could easily get soul silver. It's not, you know, not a huge issue to get soul silver, but nonetheless, it's one of those ones where I was absolutely fucking convinced, 100%, that I'd, assuming that is the randomised one. Yes, it must be. Oh, and I do actually have soul silver as well, so I could always run the soul silver through the emulator, through the randomizer after all, wherever that's gone. Ooh, Pokemon randomizer, there we go, yeah. So, yes, probably just going to stick with heart gold, because, I don't know, I have no real dramatic opinion as to which one I do as such. I just like, I don't know, for the longest time, silver, gold and silver have always been my favourites. Let's drop the... Ooh. Ooh. Okay, yeah, that's got a degree of legs to it. What we want to do is darken it like that, and then maybe make the lighter colour a lighter version of that. There's still quite a lot of sort of chisel. No, I don't think chisel's going to help me out all that much. What I need to do is if I copy that, paste it onto that as well. Amazingly, that's done nothing. Yes, what was I saying? Also, I'm no longer in the art file. Get a lot of love. I must admit, you're not a huge fan into them as some, though. No, I think, for me, I was going to explain it fully, and then I got distracted by my own doings. But for me, it was very much sort of like, I played the first. I'm like you. I've played them since the original generation, and yes, much like you, I do think the original generation is always going to be the best. I absolutely agree with that sentiment. However, I think, like, I don't know, young me sort of really liked the way they added in silver. So the night and day cycle, I seem to remember, was added in silver and gold, obviously, which I really quite liked in a way. I also quite didn't like it in a way. In some ways, I didn't like it. In some ways, I really liked it, because I quite liked the uniqueness of the idea that I would have to go out catching Pokemon in the morning. Oh no! But now I need to catch a Pokemon in the evening, and it's as a small child, it felt more engaging, a little bit more engaging. I can't deny, as an adult, that system annoys me, because it means I have to do it in the morning and have to do it in the evening, and for fuck's sake, stop making me do things when I don't necessarily want to do them. But as a young child, I was in awe of that system of going, yay, I'll get up early and catch a Pokemon. Yay, I'll come in after school and catch a Pokemon, and it'll be a different Pokemon. Yay! I must admit, I think I was probably older than small child excitement level then, but still, it was still a decent enough thing. Right, so I'm certainly satisfied enough with that timer. That'll do for what I'm after. Now the key question is what the next step is. That's the folder we want. Research, that's the folder we want. That's probably going to be the easiest one to utilise because it's already in widescreen. Just C to do one thing that no other Pokemon game has ever done, and that was the whole go and do another 8 badges thing. That's true, yes. That is absolutely true. I must admit, I've only just noted that of recent occasions because... What is that? Why is that? Who are you? Oh, I see. I've picked one more thing than I was supposed to pick. That's fine. Right, so... Scale. I believe that's looking like a 150%er. Yes, it is. Right, drop that down there. Now, what we got here? I was sort of preparing things earlier, so I should have practically all I need. Okay, so first thing, probably a little bit ground. What is it? A little bit ground. Douche and drop you in, probably just on top of that. That is amazingly close. That is probably sufficient. Well, that was a good guess, wasn't it? I will take that as a fucking guess. Bootle Boot Rune 2. Yes, please. Drop you in there. That's interesting. Oh, that's good. Oh, I see. It's not as good a guess as I thought it was because I got them the wrong way round. So no, it's substantially larger than it needs to be. Oh well, that was sort of the point because it allows me to shrink them down without hopefully losing too much integrity of the sprite. It won't be perfect, but it will not lose too much, I don't think. Always difficult to say with absolute certainty. Right, that should hopefully slot in there as well. Superb. It's a different window, but it will do. It's not exactly like I'm trying to make it perfect. Now, yes, I need to do some adjustments here, don't I? Because I'm going to want them all separate. Yes. Now, how's the easiest way of doing that? I mean, opening the file is going to be the first step. Yes, I'll tell you what. If I cut After Effects, it will automatically show Photoshop. Yeah, it's going to be easy to do that on the lower scale. So let's open that up. Tiny version. Put it in a window. Tiny version. Whoops, not intended. Z. I see. There is a sort of halo there. Do I want that halo there? I don't know. Let's look at that reference photo again. What did I do with the reference photos here? So I'll do. It's a solo. Solo. So yes, okay. You've got sort of the dark bit, and then yes, you do have a white one. And such an art software hipster. I've never used Photoshop for anything. I mean, I basically I use Photoshop because I use Premiere and After Effects. And the integration makes it a little bit easier. Personally, my traditional art software of choice is... It will not actually flash up by itself, but I will open the window in a moment once the actual program's loaded. But this is where I've done most of my... Oh, in fact, I can show... God only knows. I'm not going to put the window on just yet. Just in case there's something weird here, but You never know in my files. You never know. But no, I think this is all... I mean, it's going to take a while to load each thing because they are fucking chunky as fuck. Porn. Porn for the eyes, maybe. Here we go. There we go. That is your file. You actually have your own file. You have multiple own files, in fairness. But yes, this is where... This is the software I grew up on, which is CorelDRAW. And this is where I build a lot of these vector images that I pass over to you. Because you can see, rather than being sort of a... Rather than being a traditional kind of drawn thing, what you can see here is... I don't know what I've got selected now. The crown? Oh, I suppose it's probably all grouped, in fairness. So if I grab the side... No? No? Yes? No? No? There we go. Grab the crown, for example. Basically, it's all based off of points. I don't know, you know, in fairness, I don't know how much you know of vector graphics. I'm going through it like you know nothing, just in case, but this may all be, you know, information you already know. But essentially, what you can see there, I think, anyway, yeah, you can see here, this is a vector, and you position the vector where you need the vector to be, and then you can sort of curve the vectors. So, I don't know, if for some bizarre reason I would want your crown to go like that, which looks awful, but nonetheless, you could do that. Let's have a look, which Gyarados pics are those? Oh, what, those ones there? I mean, I don't know precisely where that one's from. DeviantArt somewhere along the line. But I think that's mostly colours. Yeah, because I think I ripped off the sprite, without doubt. Or it's not the sprite per se, but it's not someone else's artwork. Because most of my stuff is traced. I'm fairly confident people know that by now. I have declared it on multiple occasions. But yeah, you can see, if I go back to the other page, the other page, there we go, you can see here where you, as I say, you basically vector around each point and you get an outline. So, it's kind of nice. And here we go. Again, I used sort of official backgrounds for the backgrounds because, well, I'm mostly lazy. Yeah. I don't know how this happened. No, I'm not surprised, in fairness, because that really is like a... no, don't save the images, because I was fucking handed them. I'll cut that, just in case. Does that mean you could fix the one with the Neotanks? If I can find the one with the Neotanks, I think was the problem. Because I think the last time you mentioned it, I did have a look to see if I could find the original file, and I don't know where it is. So at this exact point in time, no I can't, because I don't know where the original file is. But I can always possibly do you a new one, probably a better one in fairness, because that original Neotanks one is pretty old nowadays, pretty old. Do that. That. Make sure that's all good. Image size. You can't actually see this window, which is almost unfortunate, but if you ever have to scale up a pixel image in Photoshop, make sure you go with the option that is nearest neighbour to preserve hard edges, because that way, rather than getting a severe anti-aliasing around the edges, you stick with the solid pixel form. It's just, rather than being a pixel, each one of these is now made up of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9... Oh, 10, of course it's 10, you fucking idiot, you timed it by 1,000. Also, fun fact, never never scale up a pixel image by like anything other than the whole number. As in, you can scale it up like 600%, but don't scale it up 650%. Because that means you're trying to make one pixel sort of like 6.5 pixels. Well, actually 6.5 might work. Don't do it by 1.5, because then you're trying to make one single pixel into a 1.5 pixel, and it doesn't look right. There you go. That's precisely why I use old paint to scale pixel images rather than GIMP. Well, now see, GIMP, I don't know. I've never really used GIMP, but as I say, fuzzies the crap out of them. Sounds suspiciously like if you can find an option that is labelled nearest neighbour, maintain pixel hardness or something, maintain hard edges. If you could find an option to do with that in GIMP, assuming one exists, I don't know, not really used GIMP. That's what you'd be looking for, because then you'd get the hard edges preserved, which is the point of preserved hard edges. Sometimes sentences and descriptions are not my forte. The reason why you want to use the preserve hard edges is in order to take those hard edges and preserve them in a preservation sort of fashion. Drop that in, get rid of the background, image size, nearest neighbour. I'd like that up 1,000%. Because it also, the reason why I'm doing it 1,000%, despite now knowing it's not 1,000%, is the fact that it will be consistent. Therefore, all of them can shrink down to exactly the same fashion. As such, it will, look unified in some fashion, or at least that's the theory. Can't always guarantee these things, but sometimes theory is what you need. Right, so if I've got my HP, your HP, if I'm going to be doing text, yeah, I think if I'm going to bother doing text, well, I probably would want, let's have a look at that reference image again. Yes, I'm probably going to want that. Not sure how that's going to work out. Give me a moment, I'm reading a message. Bear with me. You can just look at the genders. Look at the genders! Enjoy the genders. Look at them. Look at them. One is a male and one is a female. Which is which? You can never know. No, it's quite obvious. You've got thrusting arrow is the man and the plus is a woman. Because the woman is always a +1. Because men are awesome. Misogyny. How dare they only have 2? Yes, there is always that argument. Or do I'll probably end up having to go back and do a message again, but nonetheless, at this point in time, that message has been dealt with. Right, okay. Guarantee that Pokemon Inc. at some point will buy into all that dog shit. I don't know. I mean, you're probably not wrong. I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna sort of sit here and go, you're wrong. But I don't know. I don't necessarily know if Japan are all quite, they're not as much into that sort of notion. I don't think. Not that I've really known. But also, I don't know, animals. Pokemon are sort of animals and monsters, so would they bother? You know, I suppose if they get enough complaints, hell, fuck yeah, they will just probably go, yeah, no, we'll just leave it and accept it and go on. But I don't know. It's a weird thought. That's the female one. Moderately handy that I can't see the save screen because that means I can check which one I'm doing on the stream screen. Something I wouldn't usually be able to do. Although having said that, you can just move the save screen. Plus you've got the layer preview, so there's plenty of ways to find out. I'm just, you know, 1000%. I don't actually need these. This is one of those ones where it's like, health bars, that's what we're after. Some people whinge about you shouldn't gender your pets because you can't decide for them. That's no, you shouldn't gender your pets because you can't decide for them. No, nature decides for the pet. I realise that's technically I'm sort of kind of showing my colours of a sort of I'm not. Oh, could you please not get rid of that? Zoom in. Now get rid of that. I realise I've sort of declared almost my full-on opinion there by going, you can't choose. No, of course you can't choose. It's nature. It's fact. It's biological. But in pets, it really fucking is. Shouldn't even treat them as male or female unless you know the cat should tell you. I see. That is bizarre. But I suppose the world is a little bizarre. What the world needs now is genderless pets. I must admit, I don't know if I ever really considered my cats to be gendered all that much. I suppose, you know, we've had over the years male, female, male, female. So slightly on the bias of males, we've had 3 male cats and 2 female cats, and they've slept in the same places, they've eaten the same stuff. I think the only difference, although having said that, our first ever sort of tomcat was a little bit of a wild cat. He had a little on the wild side in him, so he would fight anything, especially when he was younger. He would fight anything. And then when we got the sort of stray that came in, the stray put his nose out of joint, so those two would go at it hell for fucking leather. But then we did get the cranky old one, and she would fucking fight anything and everything as well. So I've never really seen much. There's no real split between the genders of a cat at the very least, because as I say, they eat the same thing, they do the same stuff. And I was considering the notion that maybe, because I think the female one we had was slightly more docile, but probably only because she was normal and the tomcat was fucking aggressive. And you could never really fully tell what he was going to do either. You were taking your life into your own hands if you reached out to stroke Faith. The cat's name wasn't Faith, I was just making the song reference. Reach out and touch Faith. Ding 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 ding. Right, now that's dealt with. Right, let's back into doing. So, we need health bars. Let's unsolo that. Let's get it away from Han. He is not helpful in this situation. Health bars. No, that's not the one we want. Enemy health bar. Player health bar. Male icon. Female icon. Don't actually know if I need a male or female icon, but I mean, they're there, so I kind of want to use them in some fashion. Right, player HP bar. Slot that in. Marvellous. That goes over there. Original source deleted. I don't even know what that is, but it's not a huge problem. Female icon we'll introduce later, depending on whether we need it. And then we've got the bar over there. Super. Right. Okay, so at this point, I think what we'll do is I will turn After Effects back on because I'm now primarily working in After Effects. And what we'll do is we'll pre-compose those two as a single timer layer. That shouldn't make any real difference to the timer. It just means I can move it around easier because it is now a single object rather than a sort of non-single object. Essentially, I've put them in their own little folder, is what pre-composing does. You make it its own thing. That way, if you need to change anything, I suppose one of the easiest ways to describe and show it off, if I need to, I don't think I particularly need to, but you see here, where's the ones I actually want? There we go. If you look on this bar, if I make it past the first week, I'm going to fill out this bar here with the Pokemon caught. So this is essentially going to become the team, and then it will, you know, scroll past as part of the overlay. But if you look, you can see here, these are blank, and then you can see here, these have informations on. What I did was they're exactly the same base banner, but what you do is, and also I was able to animate that banner by itself, then I pre-composed that banner, and when you pre-compose the banner, what you can do is you can just work in this singular area. So I was able to put the head icon and the JDragon fang down there, to follow, etc, etc. So that's essentially what pre-composing does. I must admit, one thing I want to do here is rename the composition, because I'm trying to... Nested sequence, it's exactly the same thing. That's why I was slightly amazed when you first revealed nested sequences, that I'd never considered utilising nested sequences, because I'd always used pre-compositions for After Effects. So it was like, oh, I see. Because when, basically, I suppose we've done it the opposite way round. Because when you went, I use nested sequences in Premiere, I'm like, what? And then I found out, oh, it's pre-composition. And I've just described pre-composition, and you've gone, there's nested sequences. Yes, exactly. We've kind of just done it the opposite way round, but yeah, it is fundamentally that exactly. Right, 75%. 60. Definitely close. They're not quite going to work out because I think the screen has stretched them. So precisely what I want to do about that, I don't. I'm 100% new at the moment, because I do plan on possibly having them sort of, yeah, I'll wait and see what it shakes out to be, but 60 seems like a reasonable number. I'm not, you know, this is one of those ones where I'm not necessarily going to be trying to replicate the screen perfectly. I'm not overly fussed by that, but as I say, what I'm probably going to end up doing is possibly putting a wiggle on, as it were. Gonna put a wiggle on it, baby, wiggle on it, son. Put a wiggle on, put a wiggle on. Right. So at this point, let's solo that reference image again. Okay. So yes, that's sort of what I'm after. So let us. So that's a battle background, that's a battle background, that's a Charizard, that's a chat window. Kind of what we're after. Let us pop her in the middle, and that's about it. That's what I'm going to do, pop her in the middle. Get rid of that, and then just sort of Yeah. Yeah, because I can probably pre-compose all of this and get it wiggling. That's a phrase I don't think you needed, was it? I can pre-compose it and then get a wiggle on. But yes, no. Factually speaking, I can get a wiggle on elsewhere. So the position... What sort of position? Kind of like... Yeah. Just by eye, I think. Even number... 935 will do. Will it do? Will it do? Is that how technical you get? It'll do. Right, battle background, the front is there, so technically speaking, is interesting. Let's have a look at that fucking chart again. That's fine. Yeah, okay, I see. That's where, am I going to want to readjust those things? I don't know, is the honest truth. Don't know. No solo to you, and then that battle background. We'll see roughly what I think of this when I've done it. Because there will be a background, so it's not like it's going to be completely sort of solo that and then solo that. And let's see, so that's roughly what you're looking at. Sidewise, okay, so get rid of the solo on that, get rid of the solo on that. Now get this roughly where I want it in terms of slightly further up. Get rid of it. We'll sink it a little bit into the chat window, but not too much. Marvellous. And now the other battle background. That's in the small. Player HP bar. I'd hover sort of a little bit up. It's, I think not that enough to sort of slot onto the end. There. Mix that nicely. Again. Very much doesn't have to be perfect. I particularly wanted perfection. I would do calculations and get those to work. Could you now stop going that way and go the right way, please? Thank you. Again? No, you're taking the piss again. No, you seem to have capped out in the perfect position there. Marvellous. Right, the other bar. Once again, probably that down a little bit, so it's roughly in the middle of bar. That's sort of the reference. It's too far. Oh, I think it was already roughly in the middle. That's a little bit better. Probably want to check that out. That still worked out fine. That seems to be fine. And that one seems. Let's have a look at that battle background. That one. No. Which one? That one. Let's have a look at that position. Yes, that's the problem. What is that number? There we go. That's going to be more like it. It's plonking them on uneven. If it plonks them on point numbers, as in a number point something, I would have assumed loosely that was probably obvious from what I said, but nonetheless, if it does plonk them on sort of proper numbers, as it were, it will start getting a little bit of a fuzz on because it's trying to place an image with sort of a pixel edge. It will be trying to sort of place it in such a way that it's not perfectly aligned, which makes it fuzz a little on the edges, which is not what you want. Anyway, that Charizard, we want that Charizard somewhere like, somewhere roughly in the middle of that platform essentially, so let's try that. Pop in and see 563. No, it's going down. It always is. Every single time there's an opportunity to get that wrong, I managed to get that wrong. So try 557. Yeah, that certainly lines up with what I want. Cool. Let's get rid of the reference image now and see what we're working on. Not terrible. Not terrible. Oh. I think what we might be able to get away with is dropping that one down. So, at this point I'm just guessing numbers, so that's dropping it up. Of course it is. I was so obsessed with trying to remember to do it correctly. I did it fucking wrong. I know, it's an amazing irony. I suspect this is going exactly where it came from. Okay, I think that's dropped down a touch. That'll do. Now let's take that time off. Sort of there-ish. Scale it. That's the other benefit, of course, of pre-composition. You can scale your pre-composition without having to scale each layer individually, which is quite nice. Now, I'm moderately certain I'm going to want to wiggle on that, which will be intriguing. So, just out of interest. Yeah, okay, so it names it. So, I suppose probably makes sense to just utilise my own name, wouldn't it? So what we'll do is we'll probably do that. Get rid of that. And what we'll do is we'll utilise the text inside of inside After Effects, because as much as I could utilise the original font, it is going to be far simpler, I think, just to utilise the font as a font file, which is what I'm doing right now, because I should be able to get roughly what I'm after when it comes to 40. Yeah, 40 looks alright now. Precisely how do they line that up? I'm thinking they probably not quite as much as I thought. But it's just roughly in the centre of the gap, isn't it? So I probably can afford to go up a bit font wise. You have to, anybody watching, you have to just endure the endless and unceasing mumbling, because this is, I don't know, it's not exactly the world's most professional of doings, but it is nonetheless kind of roughly what I probably wouldn't actually be talking if I was doing it by myself, but the best you can expect here is muffled ramblings. Right, let's see, how did I do that? Did I do it like this? Yes, I did. Okay, so we might be able to get away with that. So copy those, paste them onto that, see what it looks like. It did not take the shadow all that out. That's probably because the shadow is not. Yeah, that's a bit better. Yeah, again, it's never going to be perfect because I'm replicating in a slightly lazy, sloppy sort of way, but it will probably be sufficient, and sometimes that is all you need. Good enough sometimes simply is. Why aren't you, thank you, I was going to say, why aren't you duplicating despite my request for you duplicating? I tell you to duplicate, you'll fucking duplicate. Roughly in the middle, roughly in the middle. That's how I took my last girlfriend, roughly in the middle. Is that true? No, no, it's not. She wouldn't allow it. We go roughly in the middle. I don't think the middle is where you do that. No, that's true. It's a little off. It's a little off middle, isn't it? But yes, no, I didn't take her roughly by the middle or roughly by the anywhere else. As you should not. Right, let's just solo that reference image again. Okay, so it looks like it's more placed at the end there. That'll do. I suppose I don't know, like. Also, I'm gonna need to move that over because otherwise I'm not going to be able to fit the gender in. And because I am a man, I might as well put the man gender in. I'm gonna put the man gender in. Do you want to see my man gender? My man gender indeed. Yeah, my man gender. I suppose what we could try. I don't know. Squidging the letters is probably just going to make them look terrible. So let's see. Can we just put a tiny male? Can we put a tiny male icon? A tiny male icon. A tiny male icon indeed. A tiny male icon indeed. Well, 60 was the one that got it all in line with the rest of them. And yeah, we might have to shrink it down a little bit more, or I suppose technically just take that font down a bit more. Yeah, I think taking the font down probably worked the best, didn't it? Just try and have that a bit more like that. A bit more like that. Just make sure. Again, we want them on even numbers. Perfect. Perfect-ish, I mean. Usually 0.5s, of course, are working better for text, naturally. To really bugger up the system. Awkward, but once again sufficient. Right, my proud male member. Thrusting up into the sky. That's pretty much another level. Of course, we might as well utilise the old reference. It's an older reference, but it checks out. I might as well be level 56. As opposed to level 40, whatever the fuck that song is. There's a song in there somewhere, level something. Or was it a band? Might have been the actual band. Probably not that bigger. Bigger. It seems to, in the original, roughly sort of lines up with it, which is probably going to be troublesome to get perfect. Again, as stated previously, I often do perfect, I do approximation. Size 46 for the number 56. Let's get position. 0.35, 0.5. Helps greatly if you can type properly. Also, as specified. Tiny numbers. Tiny numbers. I don't really like them. Tiny numbers. Although you do get used to it eventually. It is inconvenient, but still. Right, okay, so what is that number there? I think is it HP? Yes, of course it is. That one we're going to have to do. Yeah. I might be able to do something clever with that. Yeah. Yes, indeed, okay. Let's do the. level for my timer foe. Position. Will certainly suffice, so about 540. That'll do. 192. 192.5. That looks perfect, but there you go. We want to change the value of that, but I think what we want to do is 545 maybe. Just gap them out a little bit more. Yeah, that's it. So let's do calculator. 5 times 60 is 300. Probably should have been able to work that out in my head, but sometimes I don't think to bother working it out in my head. I just sort of go, I'll use the calculator, and then lo and behold, I realise actually that was probably a really easy calculation. But you know what? Never fucking mind. Let's try and get that gap roughly right. If you're wondering why it's level 300, 300 is the amount of seconds in 5 minutes. So is that needed? Is that pertinent? I don't know. Probably not. But I thought it would make an interesting little idea. Right, let's have a look at these health bars. Where are you? Or did I get rid of you? No, I didn't get rid of you. I didn't think I had. Right, so best way to do this, best way to do this, best way to do this. Probably yours is relatively easy, because what I'm going to need is yeah, let's do it this way, because I think it'll be, yeah, should be fine. Red solid to start with will be sufficient. I don't know if I can put a mask on if I do that, so let's just lower the opacity to nothing, allowing me to then put on a mask. The health bar sits on the older doings, and now what we're going to do, back that opacity, and superb, that is exactly where we want that to be. There we go, that's worked out nicely. Now if we just shove that in there. Cool, 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 Magoo. Right, what we want to do now is effect color correction. No, it's generate a ramp. Yeah, I think a ramp will suffice. We will have to probably do quite a lot of fiddling. Fiddling, 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 fiddling like that. Fiddling, 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 fiddling like that. Yes, because I think the actual fiddling points. Oh, that's the clock outline. Yeah, I did wonder. Right, so 1 point there. Oh God, where's my other point? There it is. 1 point there. Superb. Come on and do the conga. I don't know why that's hard. That sprang into my mind. Because basically what I'm doing is, oh, that's intriguing. Let's try and get that perfectly on there, because otherwise it will look stupid. Basically what I'm doing is I'm replicating the gradient style that they've got in the health bar, just with an actual gradient, not with a single line of pixels, which is should work out semi-decently. Might not, but it should work out semi-decently. Yeah, tolerable, but let's see. Probably what I'll need to do is try and get these back here. If I, no, you're going the wrong way. Where are you going? Probably easy to do it by eye. If I drag that one up, drag that one. What is the scatter? Oh, I see. No, I don't really want scatter. Those two need to be exactly the same, I think, is the crucial thing. So 445 and 445. So now 230. Oops, 250. Okay, that's going to help somewhat. Now let's try, as much as it's not in the original, let's just try darkening that just to try and get a slightly more distinct gradient out of it. As I say, not 100% accurate now that I've had a fiddle with it, but nonetheless sufficient. Let's rename that to enemy HP bar. Spoiler alert, I rarely, if ever, rename things, so clearly I'm trying to show a good habit. Will you please just duplicate when I ask you to duplicate? Fuck my life. Fuck my ever-loving life. But yeah, I never do this properly when I'm on my own. If I somehow end up with a Charizard, I mean, technically possible, of course. You have to name it Scourge. You're going to have to help me out as to why. Oh, because, yes, of course. I'm assuming, I don't think there's anybody else here, but it was Gary's Charizard that knocked out your poor, sweet Valifor, wasn't it? Yes, it was. And of course it was, in fact, me who did that to your poor, sweet Valifor. God damn it. So look at the other side. Yes, okay, let's see. So ideally, I should be able to just dispense of that, but it's proving troublesome this other end. Weird, because there shouldn't be any feathering on this mask. Or at least I'm not convinced there's feathering on the mask. You know, mask feather 9. There's no feathering. So weird that it would. Oh, I suppose it might be something to do with position. Yes. Okay. 2240. So if we get rid of that point, might be the solution. Yes, it is. Oh, apart from now, we've lost some off that end, which is interesting. Okay. Will you please work with me, not against me. 2242. No, right, that's too far that way. 2245. That's heading roughly in the right direction, and that looks to be exactly in the right direction. Marveloso. Right. Now then. Now I think here comes the potential clever bit. It's going to be in the wrong place at the moment because I'm just going to test the theory rather than anything else. But it's also probably going to be a lot slightly longer. But as long as it's basically, I mean, you might have the same mentality to a certain extent, because you do roughly the same thing in your doings as well. But essentially what I'm doing here is laying out what I want. That's not going to work. Is it going to work? Yes, it is actually going to work. Marvellous. I'm roughly laying out the animation frames that I want, only to then at some point, I suppose essentially at that point I can probably just delete the thing if I wanted to, but that's not quite what I wanted. Let's try this a different way. Let's go shrink it close and zoom in, and then see if... I'm wondering if I can get a perfect sort of vanishing like this. As I say, I can technically... Oh, I did! Marvellous. So let's just check that out. Sure. Oh, okay, this is... Yeah, the file is long. The timeline is not as short as I... Oh, shit. So that's probably taking about like a dozen seconds or something ridiculous. Because, of course, I'm working on a 5-minute timeline, which I'm not used to doing. So what I was actually after was something more like a second or something. So also put that in an awkward place. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There we go. Get it on a nice even keyframe. Yes, marvellous. And now, so if that's 45, let's just go to 46. That's it. Superb. Is that roughly in the right place? I say roughly. I've looked in at such a zoom level. It is perfectly in the right place. Oops, too much zoom, too much zoom, too little zoom, too much zoom, too little zoom, too much zoom. There we go. Now, you may be thinking, was that the clever bit? Are you fucking shitting me, mate? That is not the clever bit, son. That is not the clever bit. No, the clever bit comes next when I keyframe the ramp colours. So roughly in the centre, I say roughly in the centre, 4515, perfectly in the centre. What we want to do is find out our mid-range health bar colours, which is that value. I may again want to adjust the darker value myself to get a slightly better gradient out of it, but we'll wait and see. Yes, I think I do, just to match the darker nature of the one I did for the green one. Now finally here, must admit, might need to adjust the precise timing of this, but again, get your keyframes in, you can adjust the timing to your heart's content. Oops, apparently I didn't. That's right, I didn't actually copy the thing, I just looked at it. Which unfortunately, I don't think even if I turn my Toby eye gubbins on, which I do have technically, I have a Toby eye system that tracks your eyes, but it was very much like, fuck off, I can't be using this shit for any level of actual mouse movement. It was rubbish. Okay, let's see roughly what that ends up looking like. Oh yes! That is a health bar, son. That is a health bar. Oh, I know. Too proud of yourself for doing such a simple fucking thing. It's just a mask and a gradient keyframe, but oh, sometimes the world shits in your fucking face and you can get nothing fucking done. And then other times the world goes, it worked. It did exactly what you thought it was going to do. Congratulations. So, there you go. I'm going to have a celebratory swig of my drinky poos. And be quite pleased that my little health bar worked. Cool. Precisely how I'm going to integrate that, I do not know. But, I mean, basically, the fundamental idea is it's going to be I don't know precisely what I'm going to write in that throughout the entire 5 minutes. We'll have to wait and see. Because I don't particularly plan on having Charizard attack, although, I could do. I could probably get away with it. Where's my fucking thing? Resource sites, spriters. Because I loosely assume they've probably got some of the battle animations via sprites here somewhere. Even if I had to sort of use other ones somewhere on the line. Interesting, no actual obvious... Not that my eyes can see immediately. HP bars, battle bases, area icons, a badge case, trainer's backs. No, apparently. Unless it is in the actual Pokemon sprite sheet, which I don't think it is. No, they don't appear to actually have the battle animations, but still. No, well, Snorlax, I will just point out, Snorlax doesn't exist in this situation. Snorlax is not here. Snorlax is not a part of this scenario. But the general gist is it's going to be a case of 5 minutes, and then, as I usually do, I will make a big emphasis over the last 5 seconds. So it'll be... What I sort of plan on doing is keeping the timer, I think, but launching like a 5, poof, pow, a 4, poof, pow, 3, poof, pow, 2, poof, pow, 1, poof, pow, and then 0, poof, pow. Hyper Beam might work, I could look into that, but I don't know, I've got roughly in my head just keep it simple, keep it very, very simple, and literally just have the number be cast from the middle and sort of explode in a sort of fairly simplistic expand the scale, up the scale, down the opacity style explosion. And then once it hits sort of, I suppose, at about the 5 second mark, I want it to say timer used countdown. And then maybe, let's say the 2 second mark, or maybe afterwards, I suppose. It was super effective, of course, is the idea. And then fade, probably a fade. Fade's a simple end. Fade is a beautifully simple get out of the fucking situation button. Oh, Spriter's resource, interesting. Copy link address, that's going to be the easiest way, otherwise it's going to open in the awkward one. Paste and go, you do the paste and go. Oh, that's an actual fucking zip file, fair enough. But yes, that's interesting. Ah, that's Diamond Pearl, but I suppose it is the same stuff, I suppose. Where you gone now? Where you gone now? Far? Where you gone now? Diamond Pearl. Ah, yes. Best to put that file. I suppose just in where I'm working at the moment. It's one of those ones where I might want to keep that file somewhere else as well. But yeah, I might consider some of those. We'll see. As I say, to a certain extent, I am running the absolute perfect system of keep it simple. So I don't know for certain. Trick Room, that's an interesting one. I don't even recognise half of these, which is ridiculous. Cups. Cups. Cups is a Pokemon move, is it? Cups. Cups. I didn't think there was a Pokemon move called Cups. Straight up Cups. Here, do you want some cups? Have the cups. You suck the fucking cups, bitch. Suck on those cups. I'll make you drink your drink. Eat my cups. God, that's a fucking theme. Is it? Yes, it is. It's a fucking theme. No, it's a wrestling theme somewhere, right? Do 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 do. A do 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 do. A do do do. A do do do. I can't remember whose the fucking theme it is though. Which is slightly inconvenient. Fairly certain it's a wrestler's theme, as I said. I think I said that anyway. If I didn't say that, oh fuck. Right, okay, let's have a look. Let's continue just working on the health bar. See if we can't get even more stuff. So, I don't know, actually, technically, I've got my headphones in, but I haven't actually got any audio. So, fucking, the playlist for the old arts hole is playing in the background for you, but it's not actually playing in the background for me, which I'm usually, I'm fine with that. I don't particularly want it playing necessarily, but yeah, it is one of those ones where you suddenly go, but why do I have my headphones in? I don't think this makes sense, does it? It's kind of like, no, I don't think it does. Does it have to make sense? Why, no, I don't think it does. Right, so I'm going to want slightly more than 56 health, but we'll work with that for now. Let's put that back on just to see. So 200, yeah, my thought track leans towards 256, so that there's a second 56 reference in there. Makes it nice and simple. So number 256 keeps it roughly in line with the idea of a Pokemon health bar. It's a viable number is the key thing. I've not sort of taken the piss and made myself super strong. Although having said that, the fact that I instantly die to the timer attack, or the Charizard I suppose technically instantly dies, not strictly speaking me. Right, so I probably want that, more like that maybe. Yeah, I'd say more like that. Oops, I don't know what number that was, because I just sort of fat fingered the entire fucking thing. No, I think that's slightly better. Now let's just shunt you over like you do in Robot Wars. Probably want that. It's 1798. Sufficient. And now, alright, okay. So, thinking I may very well be overcomplicating this, which for the most part I'm fine with. However, we'll have to wait and see. What we want is ideally to copy that, because there's a lot of point in building a new one since I've already got it right there. I just need to adjust its settings. Right, okay, so we do not want stroke only, we want fill only. Yes. Now what we want is, we don't want time, we just want numbers. Yes, but we don't want that number, so we don't want any decimal places. That's it. And we want our number to be 256. That's it. And now we want our font to be the GB Pokemon GB. That's it. Marvellous. And now what we want to do is grab the tint and drop shadow, because hopefully the tint and drop shadow will just plop on, I mean, not work, but work enough. So with this 56, it's the same size, so it doesn't matter. It's 46. Now I don't know if this directly relates to font size points or not, but it's looking like it. It is looking like it, although it is looking like it is... I don't know, maybe it was a... Yeah, it might need to be slightly darker. Let's have a look. Oh, I was going to say, I think it's the same colour, just weird. 1701. Don't. 719.5. No. 719. I mean, in fairness, I want it the same position as that one, so that is 736. I don't think that's going to work the way I want it to. No, of course it's not, because they're running different anchor points. Of course they are. Of course they are. Oh, I'm sure there's probably a simple way of fixing that. But I fear what it would essentially require is a large volume of a fiddling, and I'm not sort of in the fiddling mode. I'm not in the fiddling mood. I'm not in the fiddling. Ah, okay, that's interesting. Let's get that filled to black, because then that makes the tint slightly bit. Oh, that's why, of course, because it was tinting awkwardly. In fairness, that both of those should tint the same. Weird and annoying, but there you go. Never mind, doesn't matter. Right. Crucial thing is I've solved why it looked like a subtly different shade. I think from the distance it wouldn't have made any real difference, but you know, again, sometimes you just need to do these things. So health dropper. So what we want to do is we want to tie. Ah, it's already apparently there. Oh yeah, of course it is. Yes, because I copied and pasted, didn't I? So ideally what we got there is that. And then this may end up looking awful. I can't guarantee it, but you know, sometimes somebody once told me proportional didn't help. Center, right, left, right, right. Maybe I want left after all. Yeah. Okay, proportional, I think. Definitely need that repositioned. That's the right direction at least, yeah, so probably lace that. No, 1590, 1580, 1560. That's bad. Probably a little bit closer, so 1565. Yeah, that's probably do. And now, where does that leave the 0? That leaves the 0 over there, which I don't know if I want that. I feel like that should have worked, but it didn't. No, okay, fine. Oh, I jiggled my mouse. I jiggled my mouse, I jiggled my mouse, I did, I jiggled my mouse. I suppose just look at it and see what happens, I suppose. That's probably the best next step. I'll drop it back a little bit, then do the O. It's probably tolerable. It's so quick, it's not going to make that much difference. I suppose I could just possibly just reposition it if I particularly wanted the 0 in the third point right next to it, but yeah, I'm tolerating that. Technically speaking, go on. I'm waiting. Unfortunately, the delay I think is possibly, you know, causing an extra wait. And it depends on what you're going to say. If you're about to suggest that it doesn't count down, I'm fine with it counting down because I think it will look nice. Outside of that, we'll see what you're about to say. The HV bar shouldn't change colour gradually, but in binary steps, yellow at half and red at whatever the low point is. True. True. I could do that, but I like the way it looks at the moment. So it's one of those ones where I quite like the slightly more higher tech. Because I know in traditional Pokemon, of course, it's because they're working on a limited colour palette, isn't it? So they only want to be changing, they don't want to change the colour as frequently. They can't, you know, they haven't got the ability to have all of the different shades in between. So of course they're going to do, you know, binary blocks. But because I have got the ability to do the shades in between, I'm going to keep the shades in between because I quite like it. So yeah, I'm quite pleased with the way that's worked out. I think that's worked quite nicely. Right, let's save that up. Make sure that doesn't go anywhere. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Now I've got to decide what the next step is. Oh, Smokey, welcome, or Becky. I think you said you were happy with. It was a critical hit, yes. It's super effective. At some point, I'm going to write it's super effective. Always a massive stickler for accuracy when I recreate stuff from a game like that. Now, see, with that, it depends on precisely the purpose. So for me, it does really dramatically depend on the purpose for what it is. So this isn't necessarily meant to be a replica. This is meant to be a sort of almost. I mean, granted, I'm using all the official assets. I'm not gonna argue that. I am using all the official assets, but it's more of a sort of, this is a thing, you recognise it, it's homaging and referencing, whereas I have done some more, you know, like, so let's I'm just gonna show off now. Well, I haven't said that. I don't know where they are. Where would they be? Oh, I know where one of them would be. Where are those ones? And he went, when he went, and when he stopped, and when he stood still. He never knew quite what it was. He guesses he never will. I wonder if it's in a different fucking folder. I'm loosely assuming it must be. Oddities. Is it in the oddities file? No. That is... at least I found that picture. How fucking... it's in this picture. Yeah, oh, this folder, rather. Yes, here we go. This is the one. Because you used sound attack. Hopefully, he will a lot. Not gonna work. Just opening it. Maybe. Now, to show it, I don't know. GIF seems to work, so I'll do it. But this will be a good example of where I really did try and get absolute. I've just realised I've named my overlay Poekmon overlay. Marvellous. I've set it all up. I can't really change it because it'll break all the bloody stuff. But, nonetheless, mildly annoying. So, yes, that one. Let's see how well that shows. I might as well extend it to fit screen. There we go. So here, you can see, I might have to have it loop again. Actually, if I turn it off and then turn it on again, there we go. But if you look, I even tried to get the speed up. It's a little bit janky there, but it is pretty fucking accurate, that one. I measured it frame by frame. I calculated a lot of those. As I say, it's still a little bit janky with a couple of the jumps, especially I think this later one. Couldn't quite get that last jump perfect, but still, it is proper fucking. That one is seriously. It also, I suppose I should just. Hang on, let me get it looping. What's that? Now it's set to loop. You'll note that it is in fact a perfect loop as well, which is quite good. Where's this animation from? It is the animation I was using for my Tier 2 Patreon. However, I do not have a Patreon, so I have yet to utilise the Tier 2 Patreon animation. But it was basically, you know, you get that thing where it goes thanks. Also, the rings there, they don't exactly spring naturally, but they needed to go back. It's basically, go back in the place. You will go back in the place, rings. So, yes, that is me as Tails, hence why Tails is brown and has a long coat. If it wasn't obvious, I don't know. Also has my hat, or the hat icon I use. The Hornberg hat that I utilise in all of my gubbins. But yes, that was quite a good one. The other one that is relatively accurate would of course be this one. That far, maybe? But that one's Mario. And of course this that little reference there. Oh yeah, I think Tails did have the little I think I might have put the beard on, but I don't think you can really see the beard because nah, she's got water in her. Exactly. Thank you. But again, you can see that one again. When I actually want to be accurate, I can, you know, I realise I'm sort of I'm pushing my own work quite dramatically here, based on nothing more than you saying if you want to be a stickler, but nonetheless, it is just, as I say, there's an element of proof that is, you know, if I want to try and be super accurate, I can muster the ability, but on some occasions it really is just a case of, now I wonder where those are. Intros, that's the one. Because the other one, this one you've probably seen. Oh, that's not the right file. Okay. Interesting. I wonder if I do have that file or not. Now. Ah, intro's right under the fucking thing. Idiot, and the thing. Idiot on the road. Where are you? Why? No, that must be the wrong. That's why it was the wrong folder. Good God, man, you are fucking terrible. It's probably one of the later ones. Christmas! This one, I need to resize because it's bigger and chunkier than the others. This one, of course, was hardcore levels of get accuracy. This, I think I've shown. I can't remember how far I got. I don't know whether I have or haven't gone around that. But it's the 8-year anniversary. Some of these now. And I think I did say in the 8-year anniversary that I had pages and pages. Like, it looked like the scribblings of a madman. But it was basically calculations for precisely how to get him to move, especially when trying to get him to jump. Oh, is that particularly loud? I see. So it's probably just rocking his arms. Volume. I don't know. That was too dramatic. But yeah, I had pages and pages of just these sort of free numbers where it's like, I need him to move this far, and then this high, and it was all calculated down to the finest detail to get him to move exactly as you think Belmont should move, including, like, you know, getting the exact timing of the whips and stuff. But it was basically, I took footage from the game and basically went, okay, how many frames is each of those? Is each of the frames of the animation on, you know, on there? And it is, it's tiresome work, but sometimes the end results work out well. Unfortunately, a lot of the time they sort of don't get as much viewage as I would like them to get. That's usually the problem. It's kind of like spent days and days with numbers and numbers and numbers and numbers and numbers and numbers. And in fact, I think I spent, rather than just days, I think I was working on this Christmas animation to get all three, because there are 3 versions of this Christmas animation, to get all 3 of them done before Christmas, and even then I didn't get it done before Christmas. But to get all 3 of them done, and do the recording for the actual Christmas special, and then do the editing for the actual Christmas special, I was actually working sort of like 7 AM until about 1, 2 AM. So I was doing like massively long days to get that done, and I think that was probably one of the reasons why I started drifting away from bothering, because it's like, holy shit, I was working 7 to 2 AM every day. It's got 4, 7 AM to 2 AM. Unfortunately, it wasn't. But there you go. Oh no, it's the Oni Bush duo. Oni Bush duo. And I made it Oni Bush duo. Yeah, I think it was actually technically speaking, it was the Advent calendar that really killed my inspiration, because that one, again, I was doing hours and hours to try and get, because I was doing basically a video a day for the entirety of last December. Not last December, December before last December. But yeah, I was doing ridiculous work days to get a video a day out. Again, like, hey, the usual people are here. We liked it. Thank you. I do appreciate the usual people, but I wouldn't mind some more on top of it. And it's kind of like, not getting those. Been solidly working practically. I don't know precisely how long is 7 AM to 2 AM. At least 12 hours, because that's 7 to 7. And then you got 5 hours there, so 17, 18, 19 hours of working on a day. Well, that's because it's free. It's free intros all sort of linked together. Because but basically what I did at Christmas was I did Christmas specials where I invited people to request games. 3 people requested 3 people requested them. The first one being CS Squarepants, who's got his the Creepy Skeleton Express train. Then you had Onibushu, who's got the Oni Bush duo, and this one is Sleeves of War, who has the Wizard of War with his magician keys. The way I handle it now is, at least in stream terms, is not to think too much about it, but try and keep the same idea behind the Lord Worship days. I haven't quite mastered that one, unfortunately. very difficult, because unfortunately I fear we have different standards of low viewership days. So, oh, and then there's the intro again. Pretty fucking dedicated to replicating that one. Right, hang on. Remove. After. Remove that. Get rid of it. Interesting. Oh, there we go. I was going to say, didn't get rid of it. How bizarre. Get rid of that folder. I don't think I needed it. Might have needed it. Oh well, I can always reopen the folder. Right. Where were we? One crucial thing is I need to still figure out precisely what I want to do as a background.